This is John I, and I'm making a series of recordings of how I worked the 12 steps wrong, incorrectly. They didn't work for me the first time I worked them. When I learned more about them and I went back and worked them the way I believe they were worked in the old days, they did work for me. This recording is about step 6. Step 6. And I'm saying this from memory. It looked like it was a breeze. I believe it said, we were ready to have God remove our defects of character. And remember, those were identified in step 4. I don't know how that step could sound any easier than that. It was one short sentence, didn't even require any action. That's like, hey, I'd just like to report that I have these defects of character. There's no action. I don't have to say I'm happy about it, sad about it, or anything else. So I went through step 6 pretty darn quickly. I didn't see any work involved the first time I went through the steps. But I didn't get sober, so I know I did something wrong. When I came back through and I did the 12 steps a second time and got sober, I read the step very, very differently. It was with a different awareness. The step said, we were ready to have God remove our defects of character. So I'm a different person now at step 6 than if I had picked up the step 6 and skipped steps 1 through 5 and just read step 6 and said, oh, look at here. It just asks, are you ready to have God remove your defects? Oh, that sounds great. I'm ready to have that happen right now. Skip these other steps. But look at what a changed person I am after I work steps 1 through 5. I'm no longer looking for solutions that come from people or human power. It's got to come from something higher or greater than human power. And I've got to make the decision to accept higher power and then to identify my defects of character, admit them to God, myself, and another human being. But what does that mean to be ready to have God remove my defects of character? When I say I'm ready to have God remove my defects of character, I have worked steps 1 through 5, so I am ready in that sense. I can't skip steps 1 through 5 and jump to step 6. I'm a different person with different abilities now that I've worked steps 1 through 5. I'm different mostly in my ability to tell the truth, to honestly admit the truth. Now, I understand the word truth can mean lots of things. Don't want to get into a discussion of that. I'm just simply willing to admit the way things are, to admit things that I would have not admitted before, things I am no longer going to deny just because I don't want them to be true. I will know how to admit them to God, to myself, and another human being, and now I'm ready to ask God to remove those defects of character. I'm ready. Now, the second time I worked the steps, I realized, particularly importantly, that I cannot remove my own defects of character. Here in step 6, it's out in plain sight. In a sense, step 6 is unlocking a secret that I didn't realize before. That step 6 is asking a higher power to unlock something I cannot unlock. I'm ready to have God be the solution, not me or my great intelligence or any other thing I suppose I have. No, I'm out of the picture now. It will be God who removes my defects of character, and that's acceptable to me. So when I originally worked steps incorrectly, I zipped right past it. Oh, yep, there you go. Great, sounds good. Let's go. Great, I could check off another step. Now I see how extremely important step 6 really, really is. I could say step 6 now at a greater depth. I can say I now know what my defects of character are. I found them in step 4. I know I cannot remove them, but I want them removed. Dishonesty, inconsideration, fear, and selfishness. I don't want those defects. So by this point, I realize I want to be rid of them. I cannot remove them. See step 1. And I now knew that I wanted God to remove my defects. I knew what I wanted him to remove. And just remember, in step 2, we came to believe a power higher than human power could restore us to sanity. Sanity to me just means just doing things in a way that makes sense. Don't lie. Don't be inconsiderate. Don't be fearful. Don't be selfish. Tell the truth. Consider other people's feelings. Don't be selfish. Have some courage. That to me is sanity. So yes, being restored to sanity is something I would adore. I would love it. I would love to be restored to sanity. And if there is a power higher than human power offering to do that for me, am I ready to accept it? Yes. I'm ready to have those removed. I'm ready to ask God to remove my defects. So, step 6 went from being the least of the steps to the greatest of the steps. Because of what came before it, the steps before it, what I had done to make myself so riddled with defects that every day was a misery, to now realizing there's a possibility I don't have to live like that. At this point in the steps, I'm not saying I'm too lazy to change myself. I'm not saying I'm not smart enough. I'm admitting there are things I would like to change that I cannot change, but there's a power that can do it, and I ask help of that power. I'm ready to ask for the help of that power. In step 7, I will ask for that help.